Good evening, gentlemen. बहुत अच्छा टाइम है. It's a wonderful weather, and I thought I can talk to you about it. I think you will recollect that there used to be a Hollywood movie, One Man Army. I think it starred one of the top Hollywood actors, either Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then there was also the Five-Man Army. But here we have a one-man army, and that is Donald Trump. I think he's something fantastic. I mean, what he's doing is something which nobody else could have done. And just within just 2 weeks of his taking over, he is given such punches to his opponents that they bloody well can't breathe. And the worst sufferers are the British, the French, and the Germans, who were living in the old age of imperialism, like the British Prime Minister talking of strong ties with England and all, with America, and historical ties. What the hell, what historical ties he's talking of? England has sold itself to the Islamists. That is a fact. Anyway, Donald Trump, as I told you, has done more than anything else. He's revolutionized thinking in the world. Let's start with this latest missive, the latest brainwave which he has got. And this came out when he was having a press conference with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He said something which is absolutely stupendous. What did he say? He said the time has come that Gaza is rebuilt. Now, as you know, Gaza earlier was the home of Hamas and the Palestinian Arabs, and at the moment as it stands, it's razed to the ground. There's nothing there, no buildings, nothing. There was a maze of underground tunnels and all that, which many of them have been flooded and destroyed, and many of the Hamas fighters probably got killed inside. But the moment Donald Trump came into power, he gave such a threat to Hamas that they started releasing the hostages and negative for a ceasefire. And now he's come out with something fresh, something wonderful. He said, America will take over the Gaza Strip. Well, that's something absolutely revolutionary. And he says, in case required, I'll use the American army for it, the American troops. Now, what is the plan of Donald Trump? He says, I will depopulate the Gaza Strip. Now, Gaza Strip is a very small area, 139 square kilometers or something like that. And it houses over 2 million people. This totally crowded area, rife with disease and no food, nothing. And people are just sitting there on their haunches, producing more children and getting into trouble with the global powers by supporting some terrorist organizations there like Hamas. And that was the reason the Israelis really struck at them. And Hamas has been decimated, no doubt about it. Now, Donald Trump has come up with this revolutionary idea. See, when you make a revolutionary idea, it always has opposition. And obviously, the idea is so revolutionary that there's a lot of opposition to what he has said. What has he said? He has said that America will take over the Gaza Strip, depopulate the area. By depopulate, he means remove a substantial number of the people from there and settle them in Jordan and Egypt. It's a very good idea for me because people will be able to live a better life because he's promised to look after them with housing and sanitation and other things. And maybe a large number of Palestinians may like to go and settle down in these places like Egypt and Jordan and live their life happily. And whatever is left behind, he says, he will ensure prosperity in the Gaza Strip, set up food production, create jobs, and in other words, it will become an American enclave. It's a wonderful idea, I think. But there are many people in the Arab world who can't stomach it because it's something so revolutionary, they can't think about it. And I think the Arab foreign ministers in a recent meeting, they didn't agree with it and they condemned this proposal to Donald Trump. But Trump is going ahead and he's pretty confident that Jordan and Egypt will agree to it. Why do they agree? Because they're getting the crumbs. Everything they get, their economy is subsidized by the United States. And even at the time, when Donald Trump has stopped all aid to all countries in the world, he's left out two, that is Israel and Egypt. So I don't think it is Egyptians or the Jordanians have got any legs to stand on and oppose Donald Trump. So probably they'll cave in due course of time. And Donald Trump is very confident it's going to happen. His Western allies, the so-called allies, they're not allies they're just feeding on the Americans, like leeches. You have the Germans, the French, and the British. The British is the worst of the lot. They do nothing themselves. Pander to the minorities in England, and they talk of equality and all that, but there's nothing, no equality there, there's nothing. And Keith Stemmer, the British Prime Minister, I think he's been put in his proper place by Donald Trump and is not invited for the oath-taking ceremony. It's a big insult. He made some statement after that, but that's irrelevant. The fact remains that he doesn't have the confidence of Donald Trump. And England, in any case, is a global power finish. And England and France and these countries are very keen that Ukraine should keep fighting the war with Russia because they had their own axe to grind. But now with Donald Trump saying that, well, I want peace and I want war, he's going to have a meeting with Putin also now. And what's going to happen is that Zelensky has also said he's ready to meet Vladimir Putin. So there has been a lot of problems between the Western allies and America, but they were something which was due to happen because they've been feeding on the American money for like leeches for almost 7 to 8 decades. That is up to 1945 when Europe was devastated in Tank America. Then for the Marshall Plan, named after General George Marshall, who was the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Armed Forces. And later on he was Secretary of State. It was his plan under Truman, and Europe recovered. They've forgotten all about that. They feel it's a pretty birthright that Americans would come and do everything for them and they should sit back and relax. Well, the Ukraine war, it will also end, and it's going to end the way Donald Trump has said. Whatever Russia has captured, they'll keep it, and then he will reconstruct Ukraine. That is a very interesting thing because Ukraine is destroyed at the moment. The same thing is happening in the Gaza Strip. Gaza Strip is leveled. There's nothing there at all now. And Donald Trump has said that America will take over this, they will administer it, and they will make the people of the Gaza Strip happy. And secondly, what they will do is that they will depopulate the area. Now that is a very crucial thing, depopulate the area. Because almost 2.1 million people are staying in a small area of 130 square kilometers, and I think it is the, most densely populated country or area in the world. Even it's much ahead of India or China. So something has to be done. I think these ideas are so revolutionary that nobody's going to accept them initially. But as the saying goes, when you become familiar with the thing, you start realizing, well, after all, there's something good in it. And so the good is that there will be peace. Gaza will be built up, and a lot of Palestinian Arabs from Gaza will settle down in Egypt and Jordan and be able to live comfortable lives. I think King Abdullah of Jordan is already proceeding to Washington. He's going to discuss this with Donald Trump. But Trump is not going to give up because he's very clear. He says, you can't bite the hand that feeds you. The Americans have been feeding these countries like anything, their economy, entire thing. Jordan and Egypt don't produce a damn thing. They maintain big forces. And who's paying for it? It's Uncle Sam, the Americans. So Americans didn't the right to ask for something which they furthers the dream of Donald Trump. So gentlemen, I think this is a revolutionary idea which has come up, and we must give all credit to Donald Trump. And let us see how he goes about it further, because he has to bring the Arabs onto his side. And the first country I think he's going to bring to his side is Saudi Arabia. He's going to try to do that. Let us see. He's a very persuasive man, and not only persuasive, he has the carrot and stick policy. He'll give you a carrot and give you a stick also. So he's a man with a vision. I mean, it's something which Obama and Clinton and I think Bush and even now this gentleman who's just left, Biden. Biden, of course, may not be knowing the seriousness of what Donald Trump has done, but the others know. They were just whiling their time away in the Oval Office. Here's a man who's come and he's brought in a revolution. I think it's a revolution like an avalanche which taken over the world. And look at the way he's acted on the illegal migrants. And every country we have sent, including India, has accepted them. I was told that other day the American Air Force plane landed with over 100 Indians in Amritsar. Now another 200 have also landed another American plane in Delhi, and they are the ones who have been sent across back from America, the illegal migrants. I support it. I think it's a very essential thing which is required because these people are going there and polluting the entire political atmosphere. They were the Sikhs who are going there and creating Khalistan and all that nonsense, and perhaps they will also be dealt with. So, gentlemen, hats off to Donald Trump for the new revolutionary ideas, and I think the Western powers, that is the European powers, France, England, and Germany, should get ready for the bamboo, and the bamboo is going to be very big and strong and going to create havoc for them. Let's see. In the meanwhile, I'll be watching very closely how Donald Trump is going to win the stakes in Gaza. Gentlemen, I wish him all the best. In the meanwhile, if you like my video, please share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel and come back for more. Goodbye and God bless. Jai Hind.